I know what you're probably thinking. Sure, gold vision doesn't kill people to an annoying degree, and it's a very easy thing for most people to do, but guess what? It's not. Also, guess what? It's hilarious and not annoying. But to spend a whole year playing video games and not kill another player or human-shaped computer person is actually pretty tough. I didn't just avoid playing games either, but I have avoided some, and I've realized that's what this is actually about. Ultimately, the core thesis here has been that I only want to train my eyes and ears onto the worlds I want to live in. And that means a kick-ass, beautiful, optimized, joyfully automated, leisurely, peaceful future with set-and-forget construction robots to build perfect neighborhoods, affordable space tourism, teleportation, and streamlined, entertaining, competitive education where we all learn everything we need to build the world we want to live in. Of course, I also have to play in the world I already am living in with the people I'm sharing this space with, and that's a lot of violent game worlds at the moment, but I think there's the same potential for progress, just in need of a bit of direction. In 2018, as we know, I got through the year without killing anyone, including a successful battle royale experience, but in 2019 I played the Black Mirror Choose Your Own Adventure show and ended up choosing a path leading to a casualty, which may or may not have been considered my doing, as well as an unfortunate accidental defeat of a friend in Super Smash Bros., both of which I felt disqualified me. And yes, my friends try to bait me into competitive games to try to get me to kill them because it's funny to them, and this might literally be the origin of the phrase, with friends like these who needs enemies. In 2020, I participated in a remote LAN party, or maybe WAN party, including 2000-era games, defusing bombs in Counter-Strike, and exclusively trying to capture the flag in Unreal Tournament. But when using the translocator trying to dodge some projectiles, I accidentally telefragged someone, ruining the year for me. In 2021, I kicked off the year at a big PlanetSide 2 event where someone crashed into me and died, and it counted as a kill for me. And then later in the year, when I was driving a transport vehicle, I accidentally right-turned a player named Green Immortal into a Green Mortal, and on a technicality disbanded a warrior in my Civ 6 game in an attempt to prevent any responsibility of violent conflict, but I felt a permanent guilt for the rest of the game and year because of the removal of a character who could have been with me the whole game or blown up by a cruise missile or whatever. In 2022, for the first time in 3 years, I didn't kill a person or even delete a humanoid. I played plenty of PlanetSide without piloting any vehicles this time and other war simulators, but no human player suffered any wrath of mine, or even any humanoid people. Not to say that I was completely non-destructive, my friends introduced me to Deep Rock Galactic, and when fleeing from a big pile of monster rock spiders as they were killing me, literally stabbing me in the back, one caught the escape side of my pickaxe, oops. And in that dark and darker playtest, I swung my healing staff and almost hit someone and almost felt bad. And the YouTuber I made in YouTuber Life 2 played a game and I couldn't tell if it was violent or not. And I enter full of energy. And in Stray, one of these bacteria guys fell off of me and fell off the world, and somehow I felt guilty about destroying these sentient bacteria, and I quit the game once a robot started talking about building a gun. And I thought, and now that this confession is done, what is my real goal here? Because avoiding the destruction of malicious game-ending bacteria is a weird goal that doesn't even align with my real-life principles, making it unlikely I'll survive long enough to get to that kick-ass, beautiful, optimized, joyfully automated, leisurely, peaceful world if I'm not willing to wash my hands. Meanwhile, I lament, as I've been literally avoiding games where I might accidentally kill someone. A friend tried to get me to play a not-to-be-named-for-spoiler's-sake AAA title, and I refused because I didn't trust the game's auteur, who had in the past been philosophically diabolical. And I was smart not to trust them, specifically because the particular level my friend insisted I try, as I insistently refused to even touch the controller, started with a somewhat innocuous detective mission hunting down an enemy, and when he opened a door armed with a sentient weapon, my friend scared the boss character, who then slipped and fell and died. Had I been playing, I would have been responsible, or at least partially responsible, and I would have felt guilty simply opening a door, approaching a person with a firearm who would go on to die, which means that I, for at least the last 5 years, haven't been able to safely pick up all kinds of popular and critically acclaimed games. Or open doors. Even that Call of Duty attempt was a real gritted teeth emoji vibe, not knowing if a cutscene would have my character game over a bunch of friends or force me to press F to up my whole thing. I even quit Potionomics because when I got to the first potion competition, I didn't want to be verbally mean, and I didn't want to make decisions based on the world I don't want to live in, especially regarding interpersonal relationships, which are more important than ever. I only found the language I've been searching for recently, and I realized it's simply an everyday endeavor to input positive, peaceful data into the system. I believe in being the change you want to see. I believe in the powers of planning for the future you want to live in and of manifestation, the power of everyone to choose to watch the exact thing they want to see more of tomorrow, and in the singularity, and aggressive capitalist malware. I believe in all of these things, and at the same time I believe data is being tracked with greater scrutiny and resources. My voice does not need to be a loud one, it just needs to exist, to echo in the databases of those with the power to design games, to design society, and those with the power to drive traffic or be traffic to resonate with the real patterns of permutations of possibility. Let me get through Call of Duty without pulling a trigger, why not? Let all of us save the world through a clever strategy, comedy, through diplomacy that converts enemies to allies, clarifies our goals, and brings amazing creativity to the scene. Developers can make games however they want and are seeking to make games that are sought by players. If, for example, some game like, I don't know, Elden Ring became popular, you'd expect to find a bunch of imitations, and an entire amount of human attention spent celebrating and permutating the world of Elden Ring. Or perhaps if a game like Stardew Valley was popular, there would be a bunch of imitators, a new flux of cozy games. Oh wait, that is what's happening, that is how it works. So all I'm saying is we should create an influx of reality-altering games that represent the world we want to live in, exactly how we want to play it, and the producers will be forced to follow the data and make tons of games like the ones we like.
Okay, yeah, sure, that looks easy. Okay, it was easy.
Technologies and AI will evolve to chase what we're playing, what we're watching, what we're doing, where our attention goes. Every click buys more of what you clicked on. Every second is tabulated by marketers. The metrics are used to invest in the next game, film, or idea. Essentially, only point your cursor and controller on the contents of screens you want to see a billion times more of. Meanwhile, games are becoming more real, easier to make. Not easy, but easier to make. And look at the controller for these robots. These worlds are all merging together, video games and your material reality. Powered by robots and AI, it's possible the only important thing we need to do right now is combat the cruelty of reality.
Like I said at the front, the problem here is I've been avoiding playing video games on the off chance that my experience turns sour. Sure, it's impressive that I made it through last year, but I feel more separation from contemporary gaming and all the lovely gamers and players than any joy from arbitrary boundaries of a year of not being responsible for anyone's demise. I want to play Dwarf Fortress and Vox Machina and drive a transport vehicle, and if something bad happens, maybe it's because you put immortal in your name and the universe has a great sense of irony if you're the only person who Peaceful Gold Vision kills that year. I'm gonna open doors, and sure, I'll still power wash and paparazzi, but I'm going to Warzone too. Have you seen the resources that went to that game? All the designers who were capable of so much working on any game, making these beautiful desert maps. I've only been able to see it from afar lest I set off a trap and hurt someone else or some other wild trolley problem derivative. It's a gradient from hopelessness to absolute bliss. And if I'm not here tugging my part of the war, then it's my fault for letting it slip. I care much less about whether murderous bacteria falls off an edge of a platform and much more about confidently searching for peaceful solutions to all problems healthily simulated in video games before they become a reality.